I think standing in the start gate at the top of the competition is probably the worst moment of all, because you know, that's when the adrenaline really kicks in and the nerves of what could go wrong and what could go right sort of kick in. For me, that is the worst couple of minutes, because generally you get called into the gate, then a guy tells you, okay, you've got a minute or a minute and a half, then 30 seconds. And for me, that is absolutely the worst time, where I question what the hell I'm doing at the top of that mountain and why I'm still doing this. And then by the time I've gone out the gate and got to the bottom, you know, I realise exactly why I do it.
And as you leave the start gate, presumably all that vanishes and you're just concentrating on the job in hand, basically?
Yeah, basically, your brain is thinking a lot when you're in that gate. You're thinking of all the consequences, all the possibilities, if it's going to go well, trying to calm your breathing down. As soon as you go out the gate, you're so focused on your riding and what you're doing. You know, I think with experience, your brain can switch into a mode where you're like, okay, now I'm focused. And once that kicks in, everything else, you can't hear the helicopter above you, you can't hear a crowd. All you can see is the snow, and you're so focused that that's pretty much it until you get to the bottom. And
then you're feeling pretty elated.
Yeah, and then the elation kicks in that you're in one piece, and hopefully it's gone well.
How dangerous is it? I mean, it looks incredibly dangerous looking at the videos. Is it as dangerous as it looks, or are there a number of sort of safety factors brought into consideration?
Well, I think doing the Freeride World Tour stops is probably the safest kind of riding that I do, because the area that we ride is controlled by mountain guides. So from that situation, from the side of avalanches, where that's concerned, it's probably as safe as it's going to be free riding, so which is a great thing. But the dangers are obviously the rocks. The rocks are the biggest danger to you. If you know, when it snows, often there might be small rocks exposed underneath. You know, catching a rock on a cliff, falling on your head. You know, there are very real dangers. And events that I've been to, I've seen some pretty horrible falls. Luckily, the injuries have been fairly superficial, but you know, always in the back of your mind, there's the thought that you could really do yourself some damage.
And are you concerned at all about promoting sports like this? I mean, you're obviously a very good snowboarder. Yeah. There's a lot of safety factors taken into consideration on the mountain. You've got guides there, you're all properly equipped. Do you feel that perhaps this just promotes freeride skiing, and if you don't know how to use a transceiver and you don't know how to ski or ride properly, you're actually going to hurt yourself?
Yeah, I think there's obviously concerns about promoting this kind of riding, but then again, I think that people have to realise that life is dangerous. You know, we live in such a cotton wool society that I think people have to take responsibility for their own actions. Obviously, I'm very keen at every opportunity to bring up the fact that security and the right equipment and experience are very important. So if I do promote free riding in any way, you know, the first thing I'll mention is go with someone who's has a lot of experience and learn the ropes, which I think in my generation there was none of that. We were very much left up to our own resources to learn from our experiences, but I think it's so much more present in the media now of what free riding entails that I'm not that concerned about promoting it myself, because I think if you don't realise what the dangers are, then you must have been living in a cave.
Now, last season you came, well, 5th in St Moritz, and you came 3rd in Verbier, which is a tremendous achievement. What are your thoughts for the coming winter? How do you think you're going to do?
Well, the only reason I'm still doing it is because I want to win one. You know, I feel I've got the ability to do that. Obviously, a lot of it is psychological and believing in yourself. I have that belief. It's just it all coming together on a day.
Oh, and what training do you do? I mean, obviously you're pretty fit. Is there training involved, or do you just sort of throw yourself off and hope for the best?
Luckily, with snowboarding, it's, you know, generally it's velocity down a mountain, which you naturally get. So, I mean, fitness is important, because you can't jump off 30, 40, 50 foot cliffs and not be strong and fit. Most of my training regime involves other fun sports like skateboarding, mountain biking, surfing. But now that I'm getting a little bit older, I have started to do some cross training. I do circuit training, or try and do circuit training twice a week, and I've always stretched. I've always done a lot of stretching, and I do a lot of core strength work. once you gain a few injuries and you're getting a little bit older, you sort of have to manage your body a little bit more. And as long as I do all that, I actually feel stronger at the moment than I have done probably in the last couple of years. So hopefully that'll pay off this season.
Well, the very best of luck with it. We've obviously been following the Freeride World Tour at PlanetSKI in a number of years, and we'll be at some of the events again next season. So good luck, and see you in the mountains.
Yeah, well, thank you, and hopefully you'll be a lucky mascot when you do come along.